Okay, so much is going on today. Like last night there was an earthquake. Today, people are dealing with allegations of some serious stuff. And also, My Academia got like a new chapter. I can't keep up. There's way too much to talk about. Um but yeah, as someone that has followed the show for like 10 years, that's a long time to be invested in something, and I can't really recommend My Academia to anyone because I don't find it to be that good of a narrative, but it was fun while it lasted. And the last chapter, 431, has to be like the worst way to end a story. And I'm sure if you're not a fan of My Hero, you've seen like memes where, Deku works at McDonald's, but that's really how the ending felt. Like, you have this story of a kid, he wants to be a hero, and it ends where he's just a teacher and he gives up on his dreams and everyone ghosts him for 8 years and he's just kind of there. And then he gets a super suit and he still doesn't really seem like he wants to do anything, and then he randomly gets with Ochako, and Ochako the whole time is just thinking about a girl, that's dead. And the ending. I can't with the ending. I can't with the war. I never liked the villains. So, you know, I have like a weird hate love relationship with that show because I started watching it when I was a teenager. So, it's kind of hard to let go of something like that. But yeah, I never expected them to give like an extra chapter. And I think it's so funny because I think they knew how much people dislike the ending, so they're like, we need to add something else so the fans won't be as upset. There's something I really hate. Like, it's fiction. It's supposed to be fun. There's supposed to be a setup and there's supposed to be a payoff. So when you have a story about a kid that wants to be a hero and then he just ends up being a teacher and then he's like, hey, I'm lonely and my friends don't talk to me. What? That's not a happy ending. That's not 10 years of waiting for it to end just for that. Like, I would have rather not knew the story existed in the first place. So they added this new chapter. And basically it confirms that now Deku and Bakugo are, chasing each other, being heroes, like we wanted in the first place. That was the whole point of the story. Like, how... The original ending was so frustrating because Deku spends like the whole show being like, Bakugo, be my friend, like, let's be heroes. And then at the end, he's like, nah, I just want to be like a teacher and just sit at my desk pushing my pencils. Like, bro, no. And then Bakugo, he wants to be the number one hero. But then at the end of the story, he ends up as number 15. Like, get out of here. Get out. There ain't no way in that universe he ends up number 15. Get out. I have a lot of issues when it comes to that series. Like, I think it could have been really great if it was just, teens learning to be heroes, and then they have their little monster of the week kind of thing. I think the show would have been so much better because, honestly, when it turned into like a war arc thing, I like clocked out. I never liked the villains. I hated Shigaraki. I thought he was just a freaking man-child baby, honestly. And Toga, she was a little better, but honestly, she was never that interesting either. Most of the story, the villains just are there. They're just sitting in the background like they're porcelain dolls, honestly. And it takes so long in the story for them to do anything, so by the time that happens, I'm just completely checked out. And I know, like, many people like the villains, but me personally, I couldn't get invested in them because they just sat around waiting for the war arc, honestly. What are they doing? And the powers that the story gives Shigaraki is ridiculous. Like, he has like a billion quirks and stuff, and that's just so boring. It's annoying because this is like the kind of show where sometimes it's like written really well, and then other times you want to like slam your head into the desk, And I'm sure that's probably because of like time restraints and whatnot. And in the anime, they don't even really attempt to animate it that well. That also really declines the quality. Like the first few seasons were like pretty decent, pretty good. They had like amazing moments, and then as the show goes on, I think they gave like the animators way less time to do anything. A lot of the animation was going towards the movies, and the story is just not sold with what the animation gives you. The story also has a lot of problems with quote unquote background characters. When you give every character like a great beginning, they're not a background character. So it's very frustrating as a viewer to watch a show where you're like, oh, I'm gonna get to learn about this character and this character. And then they're like, nah, psych, we ain't doing that. It's just like, it's like bait to get you to like buy merch of, the characters you like. So, honestly, brilliant strategy, but as someone that, would I recommend watching this to anyone? No, I would never recommend watching this show. Because 99% of the time, you're never going to get a satisfying conclusion to any of the characters that you like, even with Deku. But I guess with this recent chapter, it's something. But yeah, I think the show would have been way better and a lot more fun if it just, it already has all these fun, interesting characters. Like, come on, you're gonna look at Tokoyami and say that's not a fun, interesting character? What does he do in the show? Nothing! Oh, it's so frustrating to see, like, all these wasted character designs, and they don't really get utilized properly, and you want me to sit there and say, oh yeah, these are all Deku's friends, when he barely interacts with any of them. Like, this story's so frustrating, because it could be so good, but it's like almost, maybe it's just too ambitious. When you're trying too much, you have too many characters. Like, I'm currently writing my own story right now, and even then, I've had to delete some characters that I thought I would need, because a lot of times, you don't need that many, and it could be a little too bloated. Good for selling merch, I guess, but bad for story quality at the end of the day. I think it's funny because someone said the exact thing that I was thinking, where anytime they would see Shigaraki, they would think, okay, he's here, but like, when's the actual villain gonna show up? And that's exactly my experience watching the show. Like, Shigaraki didn't have like that good of a reason to be a villain, and All For One, oh god, I just want to slap that guy. He's not that interesting of a villain, because he's like, I just want to be a villain because... And we never really see the villains do anything that bad, and then, like, you'll have Shigaraki, like, destroy a whole city, like, kill a bunch of people, and then Deku's like, no, we gotta save him, guys, ooh. God, this story is so frustrating! But yeah, sorry about the rant. I just have so much wound up emotions about something, and this is kind of why I don't want to get invested in any shows, going forward, because, you spend 10 years following a show and then it doesn't turn out. I kind of would rather my friend tell me, hey, I saw this show and it has a great ending, and I'd be like, cool, I'll watch that, because at this point, shows like this have really soured me on following anything. I don't know if I'm alone on that, but that's how I feel. But yeah, so the new chapter kind of fixed some of those problems, which thank goodness, because now when I think of the ending, I don't have to think of that terrible chapter 431. So bad. Like, they didn't even set up Deku and Ochako's romance properly. It's like anytime she was in the show was for like 5 seconds. So that was also very frustrating. And then at the end, they just like dap each other up. They don't even like kiss or hug or anything. So what was the point? And even in the newest chapter, they don't even focus on that, which is perfect, because that romance was never a part of the show. Like, let's be real. Once again, I think shows where it's just like a bunch of, a group of friends, doing some task. I think you just got to keep that. That's fun. That's fun. I don't know. Once again, I don't know if I'm alone on that. But yeah, those were my thoughts. And it's very interesting to see how they kind of, made the ending a little bit better. Thank goodness.